Hey everyone, it's Shotzi for the Rough Cuts on Sunday. It's been a great week. I hope your week has been awesome. This last week, as some of you are aware, marks the 2-year anniversary for the Wisest Wizards, and for me of being on this channel. So, happy anniversary, Wisest Wizards. I hope you all have been enjoying the last 2 years with us. And this past week also marked the beginning of fall. So in celebration of our preceding season of summer, I'm going to talk about a movie that came up in conversation earlier today, and that is One Crazy Summer from 1986. If you were a child of the 80s and you had cable television, there is no way you could have avoided this movie. It was on constantly. I mean, you couldn't turn around without this movie being on. This one, as well as Better Off Dead, which was from 1985, and they were both written and directed by Savage Steve Holland. Some of you might be familiar with his later work when he started directing Lizzie McGuire, and also I think Even Stevens. But this is not quite of that caliber, although it fit very well in the 1980s. It's very similar to Better Off Dead. You've got your main character, played by John Cusack, who is an aspiring cartoonist with problems with women, as usual. Anyway, but in this movie, he's finished with high school. He's not really positive as to what he's going to be doing for the rest of his life. He'd like to be a cartoonist, but, nothing's set in stone. So he goes with his friend to Nantucket. The friend is played by Joel Murray, who is one of the brothers of Bill Murray. And so they're on Nantucket. They're going to Nantucket. They pick up this girl off the side of the road, played by Demi Moore. And she is a musician, but she's getting to Nantucket because developers are trying to buy out her family's property. So she needs to raise all of this money in order to pay the bank so that she doesn't lose the family home. That is the premise of this film. It's a comedy, but it's not like, oh my gosh, that's hilarious comedy. It's kind of a romance, but the romance is, it's lacking. It leaves a lot to desired. But the nostalgia of it is what sticks. If you were to watch this movie today and you weren't familiar with it back then, you'd probably get bored and fall asleep, such as many of my friends have done. But it has its merits. It has its funny moments. If you're familiar with people that were huge in the 80s, you'll recognize a lot of the faces that are in this movie. You've got Curtis Armstrong. He was in Moonlighting. He also played the character Booger in Better Off Nerds. In Revenge of the Nerds, he plays kind of a loser Boy Scout guy in this, whose father is Joe Flaherty from SCTV. If you're Canadian, you'll be familiar with SCTV. If you're not Canadian, you may not be. But anyway, Joe Flaherty was part of that crew. It's sort of like the Canadian equivalent of Saturday Night Live. But, you can give it a go. Mark Metcalf is also in this. He played Niedermeyer from Animal House. In this, he's this sadistic lobster magnate who is the bad guy. He tortures lobsters by, putting them in boiling water with a stethoscope and listening to them scream as they die. But in this film, he is the nemesis of Demi Moore's character. Bobcat Goldthwait is also in this, so that'll give you a general idea of the mentality of the picture. I hope you all have had a great week. I will see you all next time. Until then, goodbye.